Okay, now we're going to work on the fabric that goes behind the bird pieces. So you can see lots of different textures, lots of different kinds of fabrics, different hues, different tea-dyed and coffee-dyed fabrics. And I will show you how to assemble those. You're going to start out by having some background pieces. You can use, this is an old lace tablecloth that's been tea-dyed. You can use coffee. Coffee makes this very, very aged-looking fabric that's darker. Tea makes something that's a little lighter, but not white, as you can see. So just start out by cutting just very random background piece here. You want the edges to stick out some, maybe not too much, but to start out you want to let them hang out because you can always trim it down later. This. Now we're going to start building up. So this is some cheesecloth that was dyed with tea. We're just going to stretch it, and I'm going to lay it between these two pieces. I really like the cheesecloth. It gives a lot of texture and still remains soft. So I like to use it when I'm layering up on projects. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be sticking out on every side. That random look kind of helps. Adds to the texture and the layering style of it. Okay. And I'm just taking this is some muslin that was coffee dyed, and I've just torn it into fine strips and let the excess fibers just hang out. So I'm going to place some of that here and there so that it can show. Let it stick out some. We'll put some on each one. You can, if it's not rough enough for you, you can kind of distress and rough up edges to really make it stand out well. Here. And I like to, when I'm tea dyeing and coffee dyeing fabric, after I've dyed it, I always wash it, so I'll tear it into strips and then wash it, and then when it comes out of the dryer, there's lots of these little fibers. So I always save these fibers because they look really neat layered in with some of this stuff. I always try to add some so you can kind of see lots of layers of fibers. You just keep layering in until you're happy, which for me takes a lot of layers to make me happy. I always say, if in doubt, add more. That's a good rule to live by when you're layering for these projects. The more tattered looking, the more interesting the result will be. So just keep on adding and adding layer after layer with different textures, different thicknesses and layers. You know, don't be afraid to throw a little white in, a little piece of an old doily. Just put that in there. That's a fun texture to have hanging out. Tear and texturize all this. Put a little bit of white in there. The more different shades and different colors you have, the better it will turn out. We even got some polka dot fabric. I'm going to tear some of that. Sometimes you need to cut it a little to get it to tear. Looks nice. Add it in there. Just so a little bit stands out and hangs out there. Okay, now that we have all of our fibers laid down the way we want them, you know, just kind of putting your metal over the top to make sure that, you know, the edges are sticking out the way you want them to. And the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to take our E6000. We're going to turn our pieces over to the back. You can see it's just a regular tin piece on the back. And put quite a bit down. You want to make sure you get the edges good. Fill in the inside. This is going to hold all your layers together. Don't be afraid to use plenty of glue. Now if you want to work over a non-stick craft mat, sometimes this glue can squeeze through the fibers. So, you know, if you are working on a surface that you don't want to get glue on, you can work on a craft sheet or a piece of paper. As you can see, there's quite a bit of glue on there. I'm just going to turn it over. Kind of hold it above your fiber pieces and decide where you want it, and then push it down. This kind of pushes it through the fibers and helps them to hold all together. We're going to set that aside. We're going to let that dry completely. We're going to do the wings as well. Just turn it over. Use your E6000. Put a nice good bead around the outside edge to hold all those edge fibers you've worked on. And fill in the inside. Hold it over your piece and set it down. Press it. This helps to work it into those fibers to hold them all together. And set that to the side to dry. Do your last wing. If your fibers have moved on you a little bit, now's the time to put them back in place where you want them. And then press your piece down. and set that aside and let it dry. And once those are dry, we can start assembling our bird and put it together.